I'm gonna try something weird here. This is just a little bit of pancake is new. It gets very hot on the outside, but I put like a 2 cup cafetera on top of the hot plate, without the pot. I boiled water for tea, this much water, this much. It was like, you could pretty much only fit a cup, maybe a little bit over into it, and it took about 8 minutes, but it was already preheated, so like depending on how cold the water is and how hot it already is, but it took about 8 or 7 minutes to boil it, to bring it to a rolling boil. And I'm about to see, I was gonna buy something, an induction cafetera, but this did so well that, and the pancakes were also, like it was kind of getting brown before it was like really cooking on the inside, but I'll try making them thinner next time to see if it'll be better. A little bit chewy on the inside, but it wasn't bad. It was just a little bit chewy. And it took 10 minutes for that, for 2 of them, like size, like, this much, I guess. Maybe like 4 or 5 inch in diameter. But now I'm gonna see if this can cook, or, make some coffee with just the hot plate. Because it's 260 watts, and most hot plates are like 500. So if this can do pretty well in, 15 minutes? I'll give it 15 minutes. But if this can do well, then I won't even buy that. Because this is huge. This is a big one. This is a 2 cup one for a whole mug. So we'll see. Okay, so I can hear it boiling on the inside. It started boiling like maybe 2 minutes ago. So that's been 10 minutes. And the water is about 77 degrees. When, from within there, and it was still cooling down from the plate was still cooling down, from what I used it for before. So maybe 1 or 2 minutes of heat up. I hear that's boiling on the inside, but I don't know that it's going to percolate. It's already been 10 minutes. I hear there's definitely boiling on the inside, but we don't have percolation. So maybe the heat isn't transferring as effectively. There's like a gas stove, like the sides. It is very hot. It's cold here. It's very hot where the water is. So it's boiling in there, but it hasn't reached the pressure it needs to percolate. So I've actually not heard water boiling in this before, like when I do it on the stovetop. So I just started to record it for that reason. Because when I make it on the stovetop, I don't think I ever hear it boiling inside of this. Yeah, like steam is coming out of the... Okay, so maybe it's not a miracle worker with this. There's 4, I said I would give it 15 minutes, there's 4 minutes left. It's boiling in there, there's steam coming out from it boiling in there, but it doesn't seem to be percolating. We're percolating. We're percolating. It's filling up just when the 15 minutes are about to be up. It's a little bit more than 15 minutes. The water's a little bit warmer than 55 degrees that people usually kind of, like Fahrenheit, that people usually do for this. And the hot plate was already hot. That takes like a minute or two. It's very quick. It was already quite hot. Like you couldn't touch it without burning yourself. So it did actually percolate in 15 minutes, which is very impressive to me because I actually wasn't expecting it to. It does take 15 minutes though, so maybe it's not best for people who are strapped on time in the mornings, unless they're doing multiple things at once. So maybe it's not best for that. Unless you're going to be getting ready in those 15 minutes, maybe it's perfectly fine. But it took 15 minutes, a little bit more than that, give or take, right? Because my water was kind of warm, and this plate was already hot. Yeah. It did seem to be, like, I don't think that, like, usually it's a little bit more that comes out of it, I think. But it still did pretty well, though. So, like, it seemed like some of the water boiled off inside, which was unusual, before it reaching pressure and coming up. So, it's unusual, but it did it. It did some of it, but maybe it's not efficient. Two things. This has been off for like a minute now, but do you see how, like, it's actually quite, hot? You can't touch it on the sides either. It does warn you, so that, like, they warn you about this. But you can't touch the sides. Like, it gets pretty hot, so you have to be very careful. See how it's like, it's been off for a couple minutes now. Aluminum is not, that's not accurate reading. But just to show you how much coffee was in this massive, like, one of my biggest ones. The only thing about making this on this is that I'm afraid that the metal is going to start bonding or overheating the nonstick. So this is new. Do you see? Maybe that's hard water marks, but that is the only thing, is that it might be so hot, or the metal might bond to something on the nonstick, that it could potentially mess with this. But I did cook a pancake before this on here. This is new that I literally just did today. But you see how there's, like, I don't know, watering there. So keep that in mind. But I think that's pancake because there's some on the sides too. Keep that in mind, is that it might damage the finish or the nonstick of the thing because this is metal on metal. It gets quite hot. It might just bond to it. But if you want a low watt hot plate, and this is pretty affordable, it might be worth it. So this is unconventional. I'm probably not gonna do that again because I actually do want this to not wear off. But yeah, that's how much coffee was in there. And I'm probably gonna buy another one to use it exclusively for that purpose. And yeah, so just showing that there could still be consequences. Let me turn on the flashlight. There still could be consequences to you making it like that. So I think that's pancake juice because there's some on the interior here. I think that just might be water rings and pancake juice. But just to keep in mind that it might have consequences for the thing because that's not how that's not the intended use. So I have a damp paper towel here and I'm wiping off. But I'm assuming that's the pancake from before, the oil in the pancake from before. Maybe it's the oil I haven't tried. Let's just move. Okay, this literally just turned on me, I think. Oh no, okay. It just wasn't level. Okay, it wasn't level. This has some little papers that come off of it, so that might throw you off. But I would not use it like that. Just quick warning, I would not use the cafetera. If it already looks pretty visible from one use, like this is definitely gonna wear down the nonstick if you do it regularly. It might just be, because you can see there's oil from the pancake that I made. So it might be that, but this is not the intended use. So I would just keep that in mind, that if you use it for this purpose, that you should expect the finish of it to get damaged. So I cleaned it, and it's mostly, well, not thoroughly, like not with Dawn dish soap, but you kind of can still see that there's something going on there. But that could be the oil. You see how when I wipe it, it like does the ring of it and then disappears. So it's not as visible as it was, but I can still kind of see where it was. Could be the oil on there. But just warning y'all that if you that you should probably buy a different one specifically for that purpose, that you don't care about the finish getting ruined, like the non-stick finish getting ruined if you use it for that purpose. That's all. Okay, just a continued video after using some soap, some dish soap, and there's a little paper towel. I'm not sure what that was, but I don't think that wasn't the cafetera. That wasn't the coffee maker. It may have. I'm not sure what these things are. The scuffs are. It wasn't used. Maybe that was. Well, anyway, I'd use wooden or plastic or silicone utensils with this every time if you can. Because it probably is pretty sensitive. But other than that, which I'm not sure what that is even from, because I did use a plastic thing to get the pancake out of there. Other than that, I just want to show that the water ring mostly recovered from the cafetera being on there so hot, but it was just like $20, $25, and I'm not sure where that came from, but it wasn't from that. So I would take care of it. Try to take care of it as best as you can for the non-stick coating.